Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell from the title, this is going to be a different type of video. We didn't want to bring this, but I mean, it's the reality that we're living in. And for those of you who have been following us, you know that T and I, we are heavily involved in the government, around government contracting for the businesses. But we know, if you haven't heard, the government has officially shut down. And we just wanted to come on to tell you exactly what that means for us as far as T's contract and our business, because it has taken a big hit in a major way.
Yeah, so for you guys that don't know, we have our properties in Florida. That's where we were residing, and we relocated to Virginia because of a government contract. So as Shaq just mentioned, the government shut down, which obviously affects the contract. So basically, on my way to work this morning, because we didn't, get a message in the morning for a heads up, or I think it happened past midnight, right at midnight or something like that. But on the way to work, there was a group message that came out, and someone said, "Hey, we don't have access." And I'm a government contractor, like I said, so no, not a GS or GG. It's contract work difference. So, like, hey, we don't have access to get in. I'm like, that can't be good. So, like, have we heard anything from the Corps, which is the contracting officer representative, or anything from the contracting firm at all? And they're like, no. And so we're trying to reach out to them, and no luck getting through. So I reached out to Jack, like, Jack, have you looked up or heard anything else that was put out about it? Because I can't get in the building, we can't get in. I mean, what was your reaction immediately with that?
I was like, this can't be happening again. Like, I was like, there's no way that this is happening again. And for those of you, when we're talking about again, we just earlier this year we suffered a major blow where I was laid off, T was laid off due to the government, and now we're in a whole different location, and this happened again. Like, so now not only do we have bills from Florida, we now have bills that are in Virginia, very high bills that is dependent on a lot of different things. I just couldn't believe it. But we've been on calls, I know from my side, since this morning over this. So, but I didn't know that you would be locked out. I was shocked. I didn't know that's how it works.
Yeah, I'm just reading this. It's got a not an interesting message, but yeah. So basically, when we did hear something back, the contracting companies asking us to basically work for free because there's no funds there, because they have to basically on the contract, they have to bill the government for the work that we do, and then they get the money from the government to pay us. So they said what'll happen is you guys, PTO will get used up first, whether you're there or not. So I mean, whether you're there or not, it's like, why even go to do the work? You're gonna use the PTO anyways, and the PTO is not even that much, honestly. It's only 5 hours per pay period, so 10 hours a month. I mean, that includes, you're getting sick, for example. You got to use it all as PTO. It's
And
not
you
like it's
already
just
used some, right?
right. And then with traveling back and forth, have to use the time, of course, as well. So the, even more with this is that when contract, you don't get back pay like a GS or GG. And what I mean by that, like a government, you don't get back pay. You just do the work, and when they get the funds approved, whenever it happens, then you'll start getting paid. So of course the contracting companies want us to stay with them, but at the end of the day, it's like, who worked for free? I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's crazy. And like I said, you have to use your PTO whether you're there or not. It's getting taken. So why even do anything there, at that point? Because it's it's
Nobody's
just
gonna do
odd. I
that.
mean,
No, nobody in their right mind would do that, especially if you can't even get retroactive payment. You're gonna run out of PTO by the time you. It's gonna run out before anything because there wasn't that much left.
yeah, I mean, and like, you can look up, if there's government contracts that are over, you can look up, the performance period date, and the performance period date on this contract was September 30th. And we didn't find out really till I got in here because they weren't transparent, which we wish we would have been transparent when we were in Florida, because they won't satisfy with this contracting company. We're actually the third iteration of contractors that came in, and I just came in the door. We just got here in July, so they were already upset with the contracting company. And now, with the performance period being September 30th, which basically is the time, okay, the government is looking at, are we going to move forward, with this contracting company or not? That basically adds more power to them because no funds available, with the dissatisfaction of the contracting company. So that has more power to just basically
Cut it.
cut it.
So, in other words, that's just fuel to the fire to already they don't even like the contracting company, and it's just done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
So
So, as far as like the business side of it, you know,
yeah, I mean, even the business, you guys know, you know, the company Hero Hire Solutions, where I help basically veterans get employed, through resume services, job searching, other things. So with that, that was actually a table setup schedule, um,
today
today,
wasn't it today?
today.
Oh my
So it
gosh.
was supposed to have been after work. We go to the job fair event with a table set up, which costs $3,500, and there's no refunds. It's like that with like a lot of table setups. When you go to
Hmm.
business expos and things like that, like, too, you don't get your money back.
We're
And
hoping
so,
they will reschedule the event though. May not get it back, but hopefully it's been until further notice.
yeah, but you never know, and
Yeah.
there's so many people that pay for these events on top of that. So, well, they gotta just take their time to push out emails and things to everybody. But you talking about, I mean, like I said, those events aren't expensive because for this one, I mean, it was $3,500, but then you got to factor in other things
Like the
included
marketing.
included with it also.
Hmm.
So that's taking an effect on the business also with the uh, government shutdown.
So I know like this was a lot to unpack here. Um, for those of you who has been following T and I, you know that we're very resilient and we will come up with some type of solution or something to this problem. But we're going to be very honest. It's it's going to it hits. It hits.
Yeah,
That's literally one half of our business. And a lot of this stuff, I know some people may or may not know what we're just talking about, but both sides of the business, we're into contracting, whether we're contracting for big firms, we're contracting for small firms, we're contracting with small businesses. This is just how it works. You work that time and you bill for the hours. And depending on how they pay out, whether it's net 30, net 15, net 90, that's when you get paid after you have billed the hours.
Yeah,
So,
and when the funding lapse, things stop, the functions stop.
yep.
That's a huge piece. There's so many different things that, involved with government. We're looking for money. You got the USDA and all type of different things,
Yeah.
talking about food supply, all type of different things.
There's a lot of indirect things. You may not think that it's related to the government, but a lot of these companies out here, they get the majority, if not all, of their funding from the government. And in turn, if we are trying to help these companies, which we are doing, we will be impacted. Now, as of right now, the other side of the business where we're doing hasn't been impacted as of right now. Like we mentioned, we have been on calls since early this morning, and all of the clients that we have, they haven't been impacted. They haven't said anything. It's business as usual right now. But the other side of the house, not so great.
And this is something to think about for military too, because it's when you serve, it's like, and you get out, your options are very limited to government work. You get out after serving, people either do contract work, they go and be a GS worker or a GG worker. So you're very limited on getting out because you can't just break into that civilian space, even though that's where you came from. It's very hard to get back in that world because the gaps with the tasks you do, the experience, the things are different that you do in the military. They don't necessarily count the same way towards in the civilian sector. Regardless whether you got certifications, you got the degree, it's just so different because you got to factor into on the civilian space. A lot of them look at it like, okay, they just assume something is wrong with you for just serving, and that comes from movies, and so you're not given the opportunity. Uh, and then for veterans out there, you guys know when you're filling out even the applications, and ask a question about disabilities, and you have to submit your DD-214. So then the options are either I don't want to answer, yes, I've had a disability or had one, or no, I've never had one, but that information is going to be on your DD-214.
That is so unfair.
It is.
It's so unfair.
And so with already having that in mind, that something's, wrong with veterans, they automatically assume mentally because, like I said, the movies and things like that, now they got this document where they can read and see, okay, there is some different disability. They're going to just automatically assume with the dies. So that's why, like, a lot of veterans jump into the space of doing government contracting work, or GS work or GG, some type of government work after serving.
And that's the whole premise of what your business is, to help alleviate that gap, to be that translator for civilian companies, to help, bring prior service military into the civilian or federal government workforce. But aside from this, we still are going to be trucking along. We have a lot of things that were in the works that are still going to happen. And this is why it's very, very important, especially in situations like this, there has to be eggs in multiple baskets. You just can't have everything all in one, because in a situation like this where it's literally half of the, total just pretty much not there right now, it will be an impact, but we could still sustain with the other portion of the business and everything else that is coming in.
Yeah, I mean, and I like to say on another note, like we're still going to continue to aim towards the same goals, especially with getting, talking about for the channel, we're still trying to just get the stories out, from different landlords and things like that. So definitely, first time to this channel, subscribe because we have a huge story coming up, and that is involving an actual ex NFL football player. So make sure you stick around for that. And then we have other stories coming as well, getting the perspective from tenants, telling their story, and also we have the story of Beth also that owns um, a load of properties. So
Yeah.
I can't even get the number how many she owns. So I just
Yeah.
say a load of properties and had hiccups with that. So this is a good story to check out too.
So we just wanted to come on here because once again, we're documenting our life online. That's what that's what T and I are doing. And it just wouldn't be us to not get on here and tell you things that, that do impact us, because it might appear one way, especially when you're looking at people online. Oh, well, they have it all together and things. Oh, and like that, people are just weird like that out here. But we just wanted to put this out here because this does affect a lot of people. Obviously, it's affecting our own family, but to let you know what has been going on. We have been hinting that something is happening, even though we haven't came out and said it. But
But you know what too? Like this affects so many people. And I was sharing with you how I wasn't the only person from Florida.
yeah,
So
there were
like
so many people that was it this week was their first week, and
yes,
they just came here, and
oh
now they're done. They're
yeah,
done, and
and
the contract company did not tell them. It's like shady practices. I mean, there's just a lot that happened that, obviously we can't go into detail. I mean, we can. I mean, if you guys want us to, but it was just a lot.
everybody in there. We have a small team. Everybody in there was relocated. That's the crazy part about it. There's
Without relocation allowance,
yes, out
nothing.
relocation
You had to
allowance.
get
You have
here
to
by
pay.
yourself.
Yes, there's six or might have been seven or 6 or 7 of us came from Florida.
How big was the team? Ain't there like more than half the team?
Yes,
And these are people with families, y'all. People with families.
more than half the team came from Florida,
Even
and then
beside the government shutdown, the fact that they didn't even tell y'all about the unsatisfactory
performance. It
performance
said
review,
third iteration
it would have
of
been done.
contractors this year.
It would have been done anyway on the 30th of September, which was what, yesterday.
Yeah, the entire time they're just feeding you BS. Oh no, we're working on everything's good. We had a previous bad relationship with them, but we fixed and things are fixed and they love this new team.
It was
All
all
this
lies.
crap.
It was
Like.
all lies. And this is people's livelihoods.
But I will say, I mean, part of it's partial true, but they're not satisfied with the company. But for us as the workers, they were very, very satisfied because the government did say this is the best team that came through here. And it's like, wow, at first I didn't believe it, but then as they start opening up more and telling us things, it was just like, wow, wow.
And unfortunately, you're tied to that company.
Yes.
So it's a mess, y'all, but we're gonna work through this. And of course, we don't give up. That's not something we do. We just have to pivot quickly, really quickly, and figure out what is going to happen while we're here in Virginia.
Yep.
So, you got anything else?
No, my only thing I would say, for military out there, just learn about rifts, uh, learn about government shutdowns, and try to break into civilian space, or at least, like I said, educate yourself on those things, and just brace yourself, because it's a whole new, like, it's like a whole new world when you get out. And it's the reason why there's a lot of homeless veterans and, unemployed veterans and things like that. Veterans have a lot of skills and everything, as everyone knows, but when you get out, the world is different. No matter what accolades you have, you earned a lot, you put a lot of work in, and once you're out, though, it's different. That guaranteed BAH, the housing allowance check, your work check, your health insurance, those things aren't there anymore. You got to go out and get things yourself, and you got to connect, really, really connect, because that's what a lot of things are about. And I'm saying that because, like, even working with my last contract, there was someone did 25 years and was making $40,000, and I'm sitting there,
As a contractor?
no, he was GS.
Oh, let's say.
But still, I mean, you did 25 years to get out and make 40K, you know. So, and this is not like it's just a one-time thing. I've seen it even here. Someone did 29 years and get out and making 70. So just brace yourself, really prepare yourself for it. And on the other side, just don't view veterans as just crazy, because it's just unfortunate. A lot of people see movies and think every veteran just crazy.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the house, just in contracting in general, it's no secret, or maybe it might be a secret for people, that government contractors make a lot of money, a lot of money. But with that, you have to prepare yourself. What T is talking about as well, because one minute you could be working, next minute your whole mission could get de-scoped instantly, and that's without a government. I mean, the government shutting down or anything, or your contract company could be going through a performance evaluation that is negative, and you may not know about it. Most people, they're not looking at that. They're not going out to the contracting website to see how these contracts were awarded, they're satisfactory, the performance, and all that other stuff. That's not something that happens, right? I mean, if you do know, then you know, but it's just a warning for people that want to get into the contracting space. Yes, it's very, very lucrative when it's lucrative,
Yeah,
right?
very,
Very
very,
lucrative.
very.
It's easy get over what 150,000, depending on what you're doing. And that's really on the low end. So you just want to make sure that you do your research on these contract companies and you prepare yourself, because sometimes, depending on a contract company, a lot of them don't give benefits. And you just heard the low PTO thing that T was getting at the contract company. So there would have to be some money allocated and set aside in the event there is a furlough with the government.
Or even with benefits, or sometimes you have to pay to go TDY. So you have to
Oh,
travel
yes.
from your location, like to Korea, for example, and you have to pay out of pocket, and then they're going to reimburse you, but then the reimbursement takes months.
Yes, takes months, but you had to pay it all up front. So
Hotel costs and everything.
exactly.
Everything.
So just make sure that if you are going to get into this business, whether you're doing it from the W-2 side or you're doing it from the side that we do, the 1099, directly contractor to contractors, called corp to corp, make sure you do your research. Please do your research on these contract companies.
Yep. And so, with that being said, thanks for tuning in, and we out.
Peace.